Good afternoon, everyone. The next session is on open source healthcare platform at city or district scale by Mr. Sai Sasidhar. He's an architect at Care for COVID. So let's welcome him. Over to you, sir.
Thank you everyone for being here and try to understand now the work which I'm going to share, and thanking you the committee that the opportunity you guys have given us to share our work. So here is what the work which we are going to share with you guys and then hear from you. That is a unified open healthcare platform. So what is it all about? So this journey has started in the month of April, May. So I can just say barely this Core for COVID is a voluntary organization which just started a few months ago. So what is it all about? All about, and why it started, and where we are today? That is what the story I will try to share with you, and take your opinions and feedback. So it all started, like I said, in the second wave of COVID, and I'm sure that everyone, one way or the other, directly or indirectly, went through that phase. We saw all the turbulence and the trauma. Most of the people went in entire pan India, and it is really hurting emotionally, and also a lot of people got hurt. So when we saw that, even in my case, if I take example, in my family as well, few people got impacted, and then people were running behind crazily for beds, for help, for blood, for ambulances, and there is no limit. And at one point in time, we felt like looks like we went to maybe 10,000 BC or something like that. Where we are, we have so much sophisticated technologies. We have the most brilliant minds in the world, and India obviously with the software and all that. But what is happening? That was the thought process. It all started in few minds, and then these minds came together, and then we started looking at it like, yeah, people are volunteering and helping in different ways. Of course, the billionaires are giving money, the government is giving the infrastructure, the officials are doing, the police is doing fantastic work, everyone are doing their job. Some people are going onto the roads giving food and all that. And we thought, what is that we can do? Of course, we are working in industries, MNCs, great MNCs with a lot of knowledge in our mind. What is that we can contribute? And what is that we can support our government and our people? It all started with that one aspect. And that is what all about this open healthcare platform. Then what we did, the place where we are, we try to understand what is that we can contribute, what is, if there is any problem we can solve or we can support technically from our front. That is where we saw the efficiency to track the COVID patients in real time basis is something. It is there here and there as pieces, but it's really not giving high value. Like people are reaching out for beds, and then they are not getting real time updates, and even the updates are getting long delayed, and the modifications are not moving here and there. It's all like kind of a big problem. Definitely we see that problem, and we saw that what is that we can do to help in this area of this problem for the control center, for the government to make it much more efficient. So with this just one line statement in our mind, that is where we looked at the COVID standard operating procedure in the place where we are. So this is a standard operating procedure for COVID care in one of the metropolitan city, wherein whenever a patient who is having the symptoms, they will call the helpline and say that I am having the symptoms. Maybe my breath is having problem. I'm having so much. My pulse oximeter rating is so less than 95, and then immediately they will check with the particular, the control center and say that someone is having these symptoms and they need a bed immediately. And then they will look for the available hospitals which they are tie up with, which government has done fantastic job and getting a lot of hospitals percentage of beds. They will check with all the hospitals, and they will say, yeah, you need ICU bed based on your symptoms, or you need HDU bed or general bed. They will allocate. Unfortunately, because of little bit of scare that went in the population, even though some people who doesn't require HDU or ICU still ask for it, because that is a human tendency. Even if I'm in that situation, I will go through the same thing. There is no difference. So the entire workflow is very nice. The standard operating procedure is fantastic. So what is that we can do again here? We looked at the beds are all filling up, and then they are doing their best. Obviously, beyond that they cannot do. But within that, how we can improve the efficiency? That was in our mind. That is where we deep dive into the background of this standard operating procedure, and we saw the problem on the ground. What exactly that is? We have software application for every aspect and action which are I just described in that standard operating procedure. But unfortunately, a lot of these applications are not seamlessly connected. A lot of these applications are manually entered. A lot of these applications are being asked to be used by the people who are not tech savvy, or not having a lot of technical knowledge. And a lot of these applications are very old technology. They cannot scale. They will crash. There are a lot of technical challenges in the ground. Then we started talking to some of the officials, the government officials, like the AS officers, and then even the people who are coordinating. Somehow, I will talk about our team who has done a fantastic job. They have access to these people in the city level or even at the national level. They got a lot of feedback. Then we understood, yeah, there is a problem on the ground with respect to these areas which we can help from the technology standpoint, security standpoint, data privacy standpoint, user experience standpoint, in all the ways. So this is all it started. And then now we understood the problem in a way that what we can contribute. So what is next for us in that? So what we can do. Then this thought process came in. Yeah, we want to come up with a voluntary driven unified digital platform which will start solving some of these problems. Overnight, we cannot turn the table, we cannot do a lot of justice, but still it has to start somewhere, and we have to see what best we can do, like all other people who are supporting the pandemic situation. And not necessarily the current pandemic. If we also looked at in this way that in our generation or in our current and previous generation, this is the biggest pandemic we are going through. And most probably, we don't know what comes in the future. So, are we ready for it? Are we learning something from the current pandemic situation? So these are all the thoughts in our mind. But the first goal, of course, is what is in front of our feet, that is the COVID. And necessarily later point in time, when we look at the other pandemics or any other diseases, nothing stops us to apply the same kind of thing what we have done it here, and we are continue doing it. So this platform, which is in our mind, should help the government officials, the hospital staff, the health workers who are on the ground, who are not having so much technical knowledge. And of course, end of the day, the citizens, the patients, how effectively we can connect all these people and how effectively we can manage it in a way that they will really get the best experience. And of course, that is what we want when some of our person going through the trauma in that situation. We want this kind of solution and technology to find the best thing, best place for it and do it. In fact, we saw that happening for few of the people. We, even though we are tech savvy people, we know all the technologies in the world. We might be having tons of money in our banks, but end of the day, on that situation, I clearly remember, and even our guys and you also would have been experienced it. People went to LinkedIn's, people went everywhere. How much more money you have, or how much more power you have, you will not get a single bed. And that was the situation. And sometimes you will get a wrong bed, even though your bed is been the right bed is been occupied by maybe not an efficient person. So a lot of things like that, all these things were there. So this is what we felt we can do, we can step into. And then we looked at the overall picture again, what all the different goals we can put in our mind, what areas we can do. We understood as a goal one, of course, we can help the citizens to act early, and that is what the symptoms, find it and then somehow do it. Goal two, help the health workers to track real time with respect to the people who don't have access to technology, who don't have even some access to the healthcare, like some remote places, rural places, slum, things like that. And how can we help the physicians, of course, who are really working 24/7? And we saw that happening. And they stretched out like crazy. I can call them as superhumans or demigods. And they worked so much like that in this situation, how we can help them. And finally, of course, similarly, our government agencies and everyone who have the government people working in that situation, we saw how they worked, so how we can help them and how we can help them to manage is one goal. And once the patient is recovered, it's not end of the game. The patient has that. We saw that people who got one time got second time, and how they will make sure they will not impact others. So the complete recovery phase and the guidance of the patient. And finally, with our latest technologies in our mind, which everywhere it's bubbling up like anything, AI, deep learning, a lot of things. What is that we can attach something here so we can, in the future pandemics or any other diseases in the current context, how we can do in a global scale. So these were all some of the goals which came in our mind. And of course, like we are a limited set of people, and end of the day, we are humans. We cannot start everything from day one. And this is a voluntary driven initiative. So we picked up the key one, which is really disturbing everyone and which we can start with. That is the goal four, how we can really help the government agencies so they can track the patients effectively. They can allocate them the right kind of beds and monitor them. So it all started in this way. Our goals are being driven. We have clearly fit what exactly we need. And then we looked at what is our solution, what is that we can do. If you remember the previous solution wherein a lot of things were happening manual, of course, in that solution and this solution, nothing is changing on the standard operating procedure. The standard operating procedure is defined by the government, by the healthcare agencies globally and India level. We are not going to change that. All we are adding is we are adding technology to it, how they can do it effectively. So previously, when a person calls to the helpline, they were storing the information in one system. Later, it's going to a different system, or maybe not going. Someone else is giving and managing the bed management in a different application. So like that, they were roughly in our idea. We saw for one disease management in a metropolitan, we saw 20 applications running. So we try to see how we can minimize that and how we can add some intuitiveness of user experience of adding some mobile apps at the hospital side, or maybe people on the ground who are roaming outside, how we can add some real value there. So we try to revisit the workflow and try to introduce that solutions with respect to the technology. That is where the same workflow is being revisited with this mobile apps and an integrated solution. So that's what we are calling it as COVID automated registration of beds care. So now how in the background the architecture looks like. We will have a single database platform where it is being completely assured with the privacy, with unified no duplication, low maintenance, and fast evolution, which is continuously built where people can add their apps on it. And we already started adding apps on it. So we kept it really open and we wanted to keep it as an open source that people can contribute more and more on it. Like similar to see, this is again not something which is very innovative came from our brain or something. This is a standard practice in the platform building in most of the MNCs we see. And then that is what we are trying to, we are not trying to reinvent the wheel, we are trying to reuse the same wheel here and try to solve this problem. And that is where we developed some apps and we are looking for people how they can extend it, how they can add more apps and really create the value. So when we go through this kind of crisis or something in the future, we really need to join hands in this kind of platform and really help the people from our best possible way. So broadly, this is our architecture. I will not get into the details of what is our front end, what is our back end tech stack and all that. I will give the references of that and uh, I will ask you guys to spend some time there to understand and all that. So I will jump into a brief demo. Maybe you might be thinking, yeah, you are saying that it's just started 3 months ago. You are saying that a lot of things you want to do. Is it realistic? Or you guys are just talking on the slides? This is definitely something I want to answer with this demo. This demo shows within not even 3 months, the concept started 3-4 months ago, but in 2 months, 2.5 months, what we have done. And this demo shows how much people are emotionally and all the ways connected to it that they have kept their mind and heart to do it very faster. So I just logged in to save a bit of a time. So once you log in, this is where you will see a dashboard screen with all the patients who are getting in means patients who are calling the helpline number, or the patients who are directly getting registered in the hospital, or the patients who are directly going to the control center. We have taken care of all possible scenarios. And once a patient is been added here, then all the patients will be displayed here. Then we will be continuously tracking the patient details in the history. Before that, we just select the patient. We will get all, this is all connected to the hospitals who have been onboarded. And you will see the overall availability of the beds. These are all real-time data without even, I can say, less than 30 seconds update, or maybe when we make it more fast, less than 5 seconds update, very much real time. And that was a key point I was stressing on the first slide. So the people of the control center, or even the decentralized way, the ward center people will look at it and someone will check the patient and they will try to select what kind of bed you need, allocate the bed, and then immediately a message goes to the patient, to the ambulance driver, to the hospital on the other side, someone is coming, and then they'll be prepared with all that. And then the patient goes to the hospital. Then we build an app for the hospitals where, again, I logged in here. It's a mobile app. They will get the entire list of patients who are coming. They will pick up the patient. They will allocate a specific bed for the patient, and they will monitor the patient. And once the patient is done, they will release the patient end of the day, or they will change the patient from one level of bed to another bed. So all these scenarios have been captured for this entire bed management workflow. That is so great. So what happens after that? We have taken this to some of the metropolitan city people who are managing it. They are super excited when they saw this, and they are really excited when we said that we are able to do this in 1 month or 2 months of time. They saw our accountability and our level of commitment in that. Then they asked us they throwed some additional challenges to us. Okay, this is fine. One other bigger challenge we are facing is a home isolation. People are saying they have symptoms, then they go home, they don't even respond us whether it's improving, reducing. Sometimes they are increasing and they're giving it to some others around it, they're spreading it. How can we track them? That is a bigger challenge after bed management. That is where again we looked at it back. And all this happened within again the same 2 months. We came up with home isolation, wherein the people who are continuously sending the home isolation, we developed an app first for the people or the family who can start adding them as patients or citizens, and they can start filling in their information with respect to what symptoms they are going through, and they can update the symptoms, and all the symptoms will be reflected, and these patients will be coming and showing it in the control board, where someone in the control board will be easily accessing them and checking them. Okay, this patient already went through maybe 3 times, 4 times. I will just pick a patient who has went through, yeah, something like that. I will not take much time. You can see the history of the patient, what they're going through, what are their current temperatures and all that. Then they can take an action whether this patient is good enough, continue in home isolation, or visit us immediately, or immediately go to the hospital, we are allocating a bed. In that way, there is a full control for the hospital people, and of course the control center, and also citizens will get fully benefited. And end of the day, when they there is again a, a case wherein if they directly visit to the hospitals, they can add the patients directly here, so all that cases have been covered. So this is an application which I can personally can say with my lot of experience in the industry to build these kind of 3 applications in a proper industry with a team size of, I don't want to comment on the number, but it will take months or years or beyond that. And we have this solution which is already shown in multiple places, not only in one state, multiple states, and people are super excited to take it forward and they want to immediately use it. So that's the kind of solution it's all about. And then that's how we have evolved from just having the concept in mind and then taking it to our breaking it to multiple pieces, trying to add people together who are like-minded. We try to contact people who want to volunteer, and there were fantastic response. A lot of people came forward, and some of the people are in the industry for a very long time, taking some important chairs, big work and all that. They came forward and they started helping us out, and we took it forward. Now with this application in all this thing in mind, how we see that this kind of product can be scaled at pan India level or even at the global level, because there is no limitation for it, is like obviously a small voluntary driven people who are doing a full-time job in another organization and working on, yeah, that is also one important aspect I don't want to forget. These people who has built it are not full-time on this. They worked less than 10% to 15% or 20% based on day by day their work on it. You can understand how much they would have taken it to their heart to build an application like this, multiple applications in 2 months, and how much we have kept our effort into it. And we were able to do it in that 20-10% of our work time. So how we can see it can scale? Obviously, it has to go to different levels. It has to be added with more features and things like that. Our understanding is like we want to collaborate with universities, and we did that. We already had, and then we got a very good response from IIIT Bangalore and some other places as well, wherein how they can really help us. That was fantastic. The way they came forward when they looked at the solution, and these people not only from the tech industry, from the universities, and end of the day, of course, the high energy people from the startups who are trying to bring a lot of dynamic ideas and agility. When this triangular 3 or 4 people come together, this can scale to any level. That's how we see this can be more sustainable. It can taken to the next level. And of course, end of the day, we have to be continuously connected with our people or users who are using it on the ground. That is nothing but our city level or district level administrators. And this is city level administrator, district level administrator. You might think that why we are using these words. Because when we again looked at the standard operating procedures, it was very clear that it's been driven at this decentralized level, how people can be taken care. That is where our focus also more and more went in that direction of what a city can do, what a district can do. And of course, if you multiply that, it will become a state, and beyond that, it will become pan-India level. So this is how we can see this entire platform will scale, and really it will add benefit beyond what currently it is doing and helping people. So I will say this is the team which was behind all this product. You can see the diversity of the team. Professor Tangaraju has been our advisor for this entire thing. He was guiding us in the right direction, giving us what we should do in every stage and then how we can take it forward. And we have Ravi Madapadiga, who is heading the entire research from Siemens. And we have the founder of the startup Helios Technology, Abraham. And we have the UX designer. We have marketing CEO from Vikram. And we have another head of research guy, Saikat. And if you look at and we have program managers, we have developers, we have testers, we have HR, we have finance. You'll be surprised if I say the list of these people and their skills. It's not just 4 or 5 developers. It almost become like a company, and people are really jumped in forward to see all the aspects of it. And we were able to scale this from that idea level to a product in this 2 months to 2.5 month time frame. So broadly, this is what the topic which I thought of covering. And if you want to get involved and you want to really contribute for this initiative, that is what mainly we are looking for, and then taking help and taking this topic here for discussion, please reach out to this mail ID or go to this website, which is care.1990minds. You will be seeing more and more information on it. We are using GitLab for all our source code and our requirements management, defect management, and all that. We are trying to keep the process light, but end of the day, we are trying to achieve, and we have a good amount of backlog or kind of ideas that came up from the people when we reached out to multiple states, and they started a little bit using it in the beta stage and gave us feedback. Now we are trying to scale it up and see how they can adopt it. Thank you everyone for attending this session. Have a nice day.
Thank you.